So this is the workspace. This is called as a workspace. And here you have all the device palettes. So what you could see below is a device palette. And how will you place a switch? Just click the network devices. Here is the network devices. Click the network devices. So here you could see routers, switches, hubs, wireless devices, security, and WAN emulation. In that, we'll take a switch. So click the switch. And here there are a variety of switches available. So let me take PT switch. So do not take PT empty, take a PT switch. So you can just click that switch and place it on the workplace. So now a switch is placed on the workspace. Right. Now I would like to show you how actually a switch will be. So here is a switch. All right. So how actually a switch will be is what I want to show you. Let me just switch on my video for some time. Can the team respond? Were you able to see my video?
No, ma'am.
Yes, now very able to see the video? Yes. So I would like to show
Yes.
you what actually I have placed on the workspace is this device. Can you all see in the screen? This is the device, right? And what all the different, here you can see some ports. So this is the other side of the device. So here you can see some ports which is used to help the other, this switch to connect to other devices like other switch, other PCs. Okay, so these are the ports. So you can see a device of this type in CTC. When you're going for the lab, you can just check it out. Now, if you just roll out this device, okay, so if you just roll out this device, you cannot see a visual display to examine this device and understand what about these ports, what is the name for this port. Okay, so how will you connect this device to understand what is the name of the ports or what is the name of the switch, what are the ports available? Okay, what about the configuration of this device? How will you do that, right? So this device is equipped with something called internetworking operating system. So the internetworking operating system is nothing but similar to that of your normal operating system. So how can I access that operating system so that I can make a change in this switch? Okay, so there will be a port called a console port. So here you could see that there is a port called console port. All right. So you will be connecting this console port to a PC or a laptop. So usually a network administrator or anybody will connect this port to a PC or a laptop. Okay. And then they will do the configuration. So how will they connect it? Okay. So they use something called a console cable. So what I have in my hand is a console cable, the blue color cable. So one end of the console cable is equipped with the RJ45 connector, which I'll be connecting to the console port of the switch, and the other end will be RS232. So for the latest devices which don't have an RS232, there is also a converter which converts RS232 into USB. So if your laptop has a USB control, directly you can connect any switch and do the configuration. So that is what first we are going to learn. Let me just place one PC in the workspace. Go to end devices, click a PC, and just I have placed a PC. So here is a switch and here is a PC. Now I want to connect these two using a console. So click the connection. There is a light blue cable called console. So you can click that console. And when you just bring it near the PC, click the PC, and there are many ports listed down. So select RS232. So immediately if you just drag it, you could see that the blue color wire is enabled. Now bring it near the switch, okay, and just click here and click the console. All right, so this is a procedure how you will connect a PC and the switch. So now the connection is ready. I want to access the operating system of the switch through PC, right? So I'm going to click the PC, go to the desktop, and click the terminal, and do not do any changes here. So the configurations available are enough for connection. So click OK. So now when you click OK, you could see that the operating system of the switch is enabled. So you could see here that it is a Cisco WSC switch PT, okay, and its processor, all right, its memory. So once you connect, you can just have a read at this. Okay, so what is the operating system number? Okay, everything it has booted. Now you could see here it is booted, and now it's online. All right, you were able to access the switch in the PC now. Right. Now we are in the switch here. So I would like to teach you about the different modes of the switch here. Okay. So let me increase the. Okay. One second. Till then, the students can complete it till this. Okay. Now we'll start again. Let me share the screen. Now PC terminal. Okay. Yeah. The font was a little bit big so that everybody can see that. Right. Now coming on, I would like to teach about the modes of the switch. Now we are currently in the user mode. So you can see that greater than symbol. We are currently in the user mode and you want to explore what are the packet tracer commands that will work here in this mode. Just give a question mark. All right. So once you give a question mark, you can see here connect, disable, disconnect, enable, exit, log out. So these are all the different commands which will work here in this user mode. Please have a note, user mode. So next I'm going to enter into the next mode called the privilege execution mode. Okay. So how will I enter the privilege execution mode? I will type the command enable. Okay. So once you give the command enable, it will move to the next mode called the privilege execution mode, which is mentioned by means of the hash symbol. Now let us explore what are the commands that I can execute here in the privilege execution mode. Give a question mark. So now you could see that these many commands you can execute in the privilege execution mode. All right. So these two modes are very, very important. So to do a configuration for a switch, first you will be in the user mode. You are supposed to move to the next privilege execution mode. Then suppose I want to go out of this mode, give an exit, you will come to the user mode. And the packet tracer also support the short form of few commands, or the commands can be even, you can complete it in a short form. Instead of enable, just give en. Okay, for a quick one, you can give an en, it will move here. Okay, now how will I move to the next mode? That is to the configuration mode. I have to give configure terminal. Okay, I am going to give configure terminal. This is the actual command. And as I told you, the packet tracer also supports the short form. So config T, okay, SONFT. So immediately it goes to the next mode. This is called the global configuration mode. Here is where you can give the host name, you can give the interfaces, you can configure the interfaces and all those things. Okay. So en config T and all those things are done. So let me just enter into two more modes are also available. One is the interface mode. The other one is the line mode. Okay. So how will I enter the line mode? So line console 0. Okay. So line console 0, you will be in the line mode, right? So I'll shortly tell you why we have to go to the line mode, right? So this is another mode. So first we saw about the user mode. The second we saw about the privilege execution mode. Third, we saw about the global configuration mode. And then we saw about the line mode. Now, how can I enter into the interface configuration mode is I can give int fa0/1. Actually, the command is interface fast ethernet 0/1. So as packet tracer supports the short form, I can give int fa0/1. So now I am in the interface mode. So here also I can give IP address to the interfaces. This command is even the same for router also. Okay. So the commands that I'm teaching now is same for the router also. So I can do the IP address, I can set the default gateway, and I can change the speed of the interface, bandwidth of the interface, all the changes I can do it here in this mode. All right. So, and I just type now the end. So once I type end, I will come out of all the configuration mode to the privilege execution. Okay. So if I give exit, it will give a one-step exit. Suppose if I give an end, it will give an end to a privilege execution mode. So here what I'm going to do now is, it is always better to have a proper host name for the switch, because in a large environment like our organization, so we need to identify every switch, right? So I'm going to go to the configuration mode, config T, right? So let me give a host name. So how should I give a host name? The host name should be should start with an English. There should not be any space. Okay. So that should not be only numbers. Okay. So it should be a mix and match of the letters and numbers. So I say that this is a switch block 1. Okay. So I just wish to give a host name as switch block 1. So you immediately you could see that the switch block 1 is written over here. All right. Okay, now I just give an exit and I say, okay, all the configuration are done. Let me reload the switch. So it is immediately telling that system configuration has been modified. You want to save it, right? So now it clearly says that whenever there is a system configuration done, you have to save it. So I say no, and it is booting. Okay. So there is a very, very important part in packet tracer. Whenever you're doing configuration, you have to save your configuration. So for that, I would like to introduce. So now it is booting. I just come in. You could see that the host name is deleted. Can you see that I give the switch block 1, but now it is again reverted to switch. So why? Because we did not save the configuration. Okay. So let me go in and I just go to configuration. I say host name as switch block 1. Okay. So I would like to show you two memories here. One is show run. Okay. In this mode. Okay. So I have to come exit, and in this mode, all the show commands will work. Show run. So once I give show run, the running configuration is stored here. Okay. So see here, the host name is there. All right. So what all the interfaces available? So how many interfaces are available? So this is your running memory. Running memory means whatever you are doing when you're running the switch will be stored here. Okay. So I would like to show you one more memory called the show start, right? So it says that startup configuration is not present. So the running configuration is like your temporary memory. If you switch off your device or if you reload your device, it will vanish. But your startup configuration is like your permanent memory. So you are supposed to, whatever you do, the changes in the running memory should be written in the startup configuration. Okay. The command is very simple. The command is WR, that is write. Okay. So I just give write. So it says that building configuration. Okay. So please remember this command, write WR. So now we'll give show start. So show start, it's showing the startup memory, right? So it is showing all the host name, the replica of your running configuration is there. So class, please listen. This is a very important step. You are supposed to surely do this configuration. So after you do the configuration, don't forget to give the right command. All right. So now you will say, ma'am, I'm in the configuration mode, and how can I how can I see the show commands? Here you can give do show run. In the configuration, you should give do. Whenever you execute a show command, you give a do, right? Fine. The host name is done. The initial configuration commands, everything is done. Okay, so we know how to navigate between the modes. The first one is user mode. Give an EN, go to the privilege execution mode. Give a config T, you will go to global configuration mode. Then give line console 0, you will go to the line mode. Give interface, the interface name, you will go to the interface mode. And also we saw how to set the host name. And also we saw how to save the data. Right now, we are going to secure the switch. Fine. Let me say here, the network administrator has done all the configuration. He has removed the console cable, removed the PC. All right. So do you want to? Yes, delete it, remove the PC, and he has done with this work. All right. So let me say that there is some intruder who comes in. He connects his PC. Okay. He takes his console cable. All right. He connects an RS-232 to this console cable. Okay. And he just say, okay, let me go in desktop, terminal. Okay. Right. So now what happened? The switch terminal is exactly visible to the other person who is not supposed to see it, right? So he can come in and see use the show commands to see what is the host name, what is the interface and everything. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to secure this PC or secure this switch. All right. So how can I secure it? I'm going to give some passwords. All right. So how can I give the password? So that is what the command, please all of you listen. How can I secure the console port? Okay. Or how can I secure that user mode is what we are going to see first. So that is line console 0. All right. Line console 0. I have come into the line mode. Then give password. So the traditional password that we will use is Cisco. It is not that every time you should use a Cisco, you can use your own passwords also. But remember the password. Don't forget the password. So I say password, then give login. Okay. And then give an exit also. And I say set a banner also. So I also set a very banner saying only authorized persons allowed. So what is the next step? Come exit and save it. All right, save it. Now what happens, we'll see. Let me just give an exit. Yeah. So the console mode is secured. So you see, press return to get started. Immediately it says the banner also only authorized persons are allowed and it is asking for a password. So if any of the other person who are not authorized connects through the console port, he will be prompt to enter the password. So now I enter the password. Yes. Now I was able to access the user. So now after entering into the user mode, I just give an EN and exactly I'm going to a privilege execution mode. Again, here all the show commands will work, right? So even if somebody was able to access the console port, this privilege execution mode can also be secure. So how can I secure it? So come config. Okay, so I say one second. One second, let me just. Sir, was the poll ready? Can you just activate the poll?
There are 54 of you have not started the poll. So those people are likely to lose their attendance. So last 15 seconds.
Right, we'll start. So now we have set the password for the mode, okay, user mode. Now we are going to set the password for the privilege execution mode. Okay, right. So come to config T. All right. So here the command is enable secret, give the password. Okay, so any password. So here I say class. Right. So I'm going to give a password class. So let me just give an end and also give an exit. So now this password is Cisco. Okay, so I say EN. Now again, the next mode is secure. Okay, the privilege execution mode is secure. So I say class. All right. So one more thing that we should note here is, let me just say a write and save the configuration. I give show start. All right. So the starting configuration, I was able to see the host name, secret passwords. Okay. So this enable secret is, it shows the encrypted password. Okay. Then I could see the interface banner, what banner is set up. And I was also able to see the password of my console code. Okay, so suppose if this file is hacked, this configuration file is hacked, somebody will get an access to my device. So I have to secure all the passwords. All the passwords has to be secure. So how can I do it? Is by means of the command, okay, service. So let me come to the config T mode. All right. So in the config T mode, we are going to secure all the passwords that we have given here. So what is the command given here is, let me say service. And one more important advantage of Packet Tracer is, if you give a very short command and you give a tab, it will give you the entire command. Okay, so I just typed service pass and I give a tab, it completes my command, right? So service password encryption. So encrypt all the password. So I say exit and write. And now I say show start to see whether all my passwords are encrypted. So this is already encrypted. I gave in the encryption format, so it is already encrypted. So let me come here to see, yes, my console password is also encrypted now. Okay, it is in the secured mode. Right. So this is how we will secure the user mode and the privilege execution mode. So first we saw about the different modes. Then we saw about how to set a host name, how to save the configuration. Then we saw about how to set a password for user mode and privilege execution mode. So now, in a very big organization like ours, we may have around 100 plus switches. All right. So suppose there is any problem with the switch, how will the network administrator go and check all the switches by connecting physically the console port? It is not possible, right? In a very big organization like that, it is not possible. So usually they'll do a remote access of the switch. All right. So for management purpose, they do a remote access of the switch. So how can I enable that remote access in a switches? So in order to enable a remote access, first we need to set the IP address for the switch. So, but usually You cannot set an IP address for the switch because switch basically operates using a MAC address, but one interface in the switch is capable, or one interface in the switch you can assign IP address. So let us go to the configuration tab. So that interface is called interface VLAN1. Okay, there will be interface. I would like to show you one more thing. What all the interfaces available in the switch? How will you see? Show IP interface brief. Okay, show IP interface brief command will give you all the interfaces and its status. So here you could see that these are the list of interfaces available: fast Ethernet 0, 1, 1/1, 2/1, 3/1, 4/1. They are down. Okay, so physically they are down. And VLAN1. This is the interface which is used for accessing the switch remotely. So now I should go to the configuration mode, config T. Then I give int VLAN1. Okay, so let me set an IP address. So I would like to set an IP address 192.168.1.1. So I say 255.255.255. Let me set it to 1.2. Okay. .0. I'm sorry. .0. Right. So it's a class C IP I set. So the IP address is set. Suppose you want to configure this switch through a remote network. Okay, so you want this packet of this switch. Okay, so you want to access the switch from a remote network. You want to set a default gateway also. So how will I give a default gateway? The command is IP default. I'm going to use the tab. Okay, default. So set a default gateway 192.168.1.1. Yes, the default gateway is also set. Right, so I have set the VLAN1 IP address for the switch for remote access and also the default gateway. So let me come out and save the configuration. Don't forget to save it every time. Save the configuration. So now I have given a remote access for the switch. So anybody who have access to the switch remotely should not misuse this switch. Okay, so I'm going to secure the remote channel also. Okay, I'm going to secure the remote channel also. So how can I secure the remote channel? I'm going to say the command is, let me come to config T. All right. So I say line VTY 0 to 4. What is the meaning of this? Virtual terminal. Okay. Line VTY means virtual terminal. That is telnet. All right. I'm going to secure the telnet using a username and a password. Okay. So I say line VTY 0 to 4 means I'm allowing at a time of 3 people, or 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people. Okay, so 5 people to access the switch remotely. Okay, that's what mean by 0 to 4. So line VTY 0 to 4. Then I just say password. Okay, password Cisco. All right, login and end. All right. So now it is also remotely secure. The switch is not only console based secure, it is also remotely secure. So WR so start. One thing I have missed out here, to secure the password again. So I say the IP address is visible, default gateway set. Yes. So as I have enabled service encryption password, the password is also saved in a secure manner. All right. So now the switch is ready for deployment in the real mode. And one more thing is, let me just come here and say config T. Okay, I want to put all the ports to up. I'll say show IP to show IP interface brief. Okay, so all the ports you could see it is down, right? So how can I put it up? Let us go to int FA0/1. Okay, I say no shut. The command given is no shut. All right, so once I give no shut, let me again say do show IP interface. sorry, to show IP interface brief. Okay. All right, it will take some time for us to put the status up. If you connect any devices, then the status will be up, right? So I'll just give exit and put the WR. All right. So now I want the next pole to be active.
Thirty seconds more.
So we'll start. So now we could see that I have done a small configuration to understand whether I can connect it remotely. So here is a PC. I've given the PC with 192.168.1.3. Okay, and here is the switch. So I'm trying to connect this. They both are not directly connected. They are connected through one more switch. So I'm trying to connect it, but it's coming that connection timeout and request timeout. So let us understand what could be the problem. So when I just come to the switch through the PC, I'm opening the switch to understand what is the problem. So now we could see that the VLAN port is administratively down. All right. So what we are supposed to do it is, let us make it up. I'll come to config t int VLAN 1 and give a no shut. Right. So now it is up. Let us now check one more time even the status. So I say exit and give show IP interface brief. Yes. So now you could see that it is up. All right, the VLAN is also up, and the fast Ethernet, which was connected to the other switch, is also up. Now it should work. We'll try out. Come to this PC, and first let us ping. So we all see that ping is the one command that we will use to check the connectivity, right? So whether we were able to ping the switch, right? So ping 192.168.1.2. All right, that was the IP address of the switch. Yeah. Now we were able to get a ping reply. So we should be also able to telnet it. Yes. So we were able to access. So it says only authorized persons allowed, right? So it is asking for a password, Cisco, right? So immediately it asks for a console password. Once I telnet it, it is asking for a console password. So EN, I just say class. Okay, so remotely, I was able to access the switch console also. As we have enabled the telnet in the switch, this is possible, right? Even you can have a SSH configuration, secure shell configuration, that you can explore when you are learning in the courses, right? So this is the switch configuration. The same thing appears for the router also. Since this is a simulation environment, there are two more modes with which you can access the switch. I'll tell you. One is a GUI mode, which strongly we don't support. Okay, we won't suggest the students to practice on that mode, because in your CCNA exams, the GUI mode is disabled. Okay, in all the devices, they will disable this GUI mode. So I'll show you that as well. When I click a switch, here is the back end of the switch where you can see what all the ports available, the fast Ethernet ports, the Giga Ethernet port, the power supply, and everything is shown here. So here is your CLI. Okay, so the same CLI which we accessed through Telnet, through the console port, it will be visible here also, the CLI. Because it is a simulation environment, you were able to see this. And the other one is the config tab, where you can just click the fast Ethernet port. Okay, and you will be able to set all the changes, right? So, but this port, this mode, this tab will be disabled for your exams. So kindly do not practice that, the CLI and all those things, right? So let me summarize what we discussed in today's class. So what we discussed in today's class was how to practice your packet tracer in the workspace. That's a beginner one. So how to place a switch, how to place PC, how to connect a PC and a switch using console cable. Then we saw what are the different modes of a switch, what are the different, how to set a host name for the switch, how can you save the configuration for the switch. And then we saw about the telnet configurations of the switch. And then we discuss about how to secure the different modes of the switch, right? So what you can do is